I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio,
where we take a roller coaster ride through the history of one of Disney's most iconic attractions.
Yeah, even if you don't like the ride, you like the building, right?
Oh, the building is it's, in my opinion, one of the coolest facades ever made.
Agreed. I think the building's more important than the ride. You know what I mean?
I do.
Yeah. So we're talking about Space Mountain.
Yes. A landmark in roller coaster history.
It really is.
Right.
Yeah. It was some firsts.
Which,
we'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
A pinnacle of innovation.
Yes.
We love the innovation of Disney's Imagineering. Tomorrowland happens to be the source of a lot of that innovation, and this is no exception.
Yeah. Very excited to talk to you about the history.
I'm excited. I feel like I know very little about Space Mountain's history.
Yeah. And do you know, where all it is now?
Where all what is?
Like the different parks. So we'll get into that too. I just think that it's interesting.
No, I know a little bit, but I don't know all of the locations and stuff.
Yeah.
Fascinating. All right, before we dive into the dark of Space Mountain, keep your hands inside the ride vehicle.
Oh yeah, this one's dangerous.
Yeah. Oof.
I'm 5'2", and I'm scared to put my hands up.
Eek. Yeah, I'm taller than that by a margin. So yeah, same.
Yeah,
Same.
I bet you're hunched over.
I worry about decapitation.
I would worry about that too.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we started this episode strong.
Well, I think everybody worries about it. It hasn't happened. Does that make you guys feel better?
Yeah. Well, I think when I'm riding it, it's like an innate fear.
No, I know it.
Like my brain is like, oh, there's steel flying all around you.
Yeah.
You can see it, but just barely.
You also have a sense, don't you think?
Yeah.
Like I'm definitely not. So they had to build it so that even if you were the tallest person alive, you wouldn't get decapitated.
The envelope of protection.
Yeah. So and for people having their hands up, because some people do that.
Yeah.
So it's not as tight as it feels.
Right.
But there's something in your body that makes you go, oh, this is dangerous. I need to hunch over.
Yes, it's true. It's that survival instinct.
Sometimes you'll drive in a parking garage and you'll feel like you're going to hit the top of your car, but you're actually not as close. It's like that.
Yeah, it is a lot like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys in your car right now? Listen to this? Are you in a parking garage? Probably not, because the signal in there is so bad.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. How's the signal in space, you think?
No idea.
In space, nobody can hear your phone call.
Or your podcast.
Yeah, in space, no one can hear your podcast. All right.
Here we go.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. If you would like more of us, then you can get it by subscribing to the show. That's how you can make sure you see when new episodes come out, full of fun Disney facts and history and commentary and lists of fun things. And you can also help us out by reviewing the show. We love to read the reviews, we love to read comments, and every review helps boost us up the search results.
Yeah.
So every little bit helps.
Yeah.
Like stars in space.
You're crazy.
Yeah.
Also, if you are thinking about taking a trip of any kind, a Disney trip, a Universal trip, a cruise vacation, please consider letting me be your free to travel agent. All you have to do is email me. My email is morgan@neverlandnavigation.com. And this is a completely free to use service. When you book your own Disney World travel package, the price of your travel agent's commission is built into what you're paying. So you're paying for it whether you use it or not. And so you might as well use it and help out a small business, which is me, and let me do the stuff you don't want to do, like look for dining reservations or call in and wait on hold to make a request or something like that. There's lots of stuff that I do. Doesn't cost you a penny. And as a matter of fact, you get free custom trip t-shirts or attraction posters from me as a thank you for letting me be your travel agent, because wherever you're traveling to pays me commission, even though they don't charge you more.
You're practically making money.
You actually are.
You're
you know what I mean?
Definitely making money.
Yeah, because you were going to pay X amount of money. You're still paying X amount of money, but now you're getting free shirts.
And services.
And good karma.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. So again, my email, morgan@neverlandnavigation.com.
Yes. One of my favorite things about you as a travel agent is that if your client wants you to be super involved, you can be super involved. But if they don't want you to be super involved, like if they're, they've got their setup,
you're a Disney pro.
You can give them space.
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 Yeah, a lot of my clients, because they find me from this podcast, they know what they're doing, they know what they want. They don't actually need help.
Yeah.
They're just trying to help me out, and they want their free shirts, and that's just a win-win.
And it's so sweet. We really appreciate the support as well.
If you don't want me up in your business, I don't have to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there are still benefits, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Including
free shirts.
Free stuff, yeah.
Yeah, free stuff. The free karma. Free good karma.
And good karma. Of course. Can't underestimate that.
Yeah.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Well, let's begin at the beginning. Like we always do.
Yes. Yes. The past of tomorrow.
Yes. So the idea for Space Mountain dates back to the 1960s.
Oh.
Yeah. It originates with Walt Disney himself, which we always love.
Yes.
We love it when he was involved. It was, a brainchild of the man.
Yes.
Yeah. Fresh off the success of Disneyland's Matterhorn bobsleds, which of course came first. That was the first mountain coaster, by the way. Matterhorn was.
Right.
Can't believe it's still basically the same, by the way.
I know. It feels a little like a backyard roller coaster or something.
It does. Oh my gosh. So Walt became convinced that thrilling attractions had a place in his parks because Matterhorn was so very popular.
Right.
He imagined a spaceport in Disneyland's Tomorrowland, which was going to be a futuristic terminal where guests would embark on a high-speed journey through outer space. And this was an ambitious concept for its time because in the 1960s, technology hadn't caught up with his vision at all.
Sure.
This was just something, this was a pie in the sky. We have absolutely no way of doing this, but this is what I'm thinking kind of thing.
Wouldn't this be cool?
Yeah. But his saying, so that's just they were gonna make it happen eventually.
Yeah.
The proposed ride, which at one point was referred to by Imagineers as Space Voyage.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I like it too. The mountain thing, if you really think about it, it's so ingrained in our thought. We're just oh yeah, all the mountains in Disney, all the mountain. But really, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, Space Mountain. What does that even mean?
There's no mountain. It doesn't look like a mountain. There's no mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spaceport would even make more sense than Space Mountain.
Yeah.
Because it's also not a natural feature.
Yeah. It really doesn't make a ton of sense. So.
But we don't second.
We're okay with it.
Right.
Yeah, because it is what it is.
Yeah, a mountain with a roof and a mid-century design. Yes, of course.
So yeah, it was called Space Voyage just between Imagineers for a while. And it would be enclosed in a dark dome and feature multiple roller coaster tracks spiraling through the darkness. However, Disneyland didn't have the physical space or computing technology at that time to make this multi-track space coaster a reality. So the idea was put on hold, and it wound up staying on hold until after Walt's passing in 1966.
Oh.
Yeah. I always think, when I think of Space Mountain, I think of it being an OG. You know what I mean?
I know, it's so storied.
Yeah.
It's so historic.
Right. And as far as Disneyland is concerned, it's not at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Disneyland's old as dirt.
Yeah.
So no offense to
No, it's
that
a good
era.
thing because they've got all that history, but
right.
Yeah, it just the technology wasn't there then for this.
Or the budget.
Right.
They were broke.
Yeah, they were broke. They did not have this would have been such a huge budget.
Oh yeah.
thing.
Just the building.
Yeah.
And it's all of its intricacy. Never mind the interlocking roller coaster situation.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a lot.
So after Walt's passing, then Walt Disney World opened in 1971, and Magic Kingdom was a huge success, which, gave them some more money to work with.
Oh, yeah.
Park planners noticed something was missing. Teens and young adults wanted more thrills. So we didn't have Matterhorn.
Right.
Yeah, at the beginning. So
Wild. When you think about it,
it
kinda,
is interesting that they didn't decide. It was so successful over there, but they didn't decide to put it here.
yeah, I wonder what the deal
I
is.
wonder what the deal is too. I don't think we've done a Matterhorn research project yet, but we should put that on the list
It's
as
a
one.
matter of
Matter of
time.
horn. Okay.
Okay. We haven't done that yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on.
Mhm.
Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom had the perfect open real estate, and by the early 1970s, technology had advanced enough to dust off Walt's space coaster idea.
Love when they do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Walt Disney World became ground zero for the first Space Mountain. Construction on Space Mountain began in 1972, just outside the park's perimeter railway, and engineers utilized computer-aided design to create the coaster's twists and turns, a cutting-edge move at the time. So Space Mountain was actually the world's first fully indoor roller coaster in the dark, and it is also the world's first roller coaster controlled by a computer system.
Fascinating.
Isn't that crazy?
What a groundbreaking shift in themed entertainment.
Yes, and honestly, a little later than I expected.
I know the 70s, huh?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
So Disneyland had been open for decades. Disney World had been open for a few years before we're even there.
Right.
Which I just find very interesting because they had done so much with technology already.
Yes, and this was during the planning and the creation of Epcot was happening kind of alongside this in its own way. So you kind of think future thinking technology along with when you think about the Florida project, that's what you think about.
Yeah.
But I mean, we are still far behind in the timeline here. The boom of like consumer computer stuff. So, like, you know, it is later than you might think, but it's also, like, predating so much of the computerization that we know and love.
Yeah,
you know?
I know. I just think it's interesting because don't you think they were using computers at this time and way before, not way before, but before, for, like, the monorail system, flights in general? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think computers... When Epcot first opened and they had Communicore and you could go in and you could see the huge room of computers that controlled all the rides and the soundtracks and stuff, it took like a whole huge room full of computers to do that. And I think at this time, in the early 70s, it would have taken a whole room of computers to power one computer to program Space Mountain.
And we know that that's true of like the Tiki Room in Disneyland was the first attraction that had animatronics, and it took a whole huge room of computers that put off a lot of heat, and then they had to consider that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it makes sense. And just if you would have asked me,
I know. Yeah,
I would have thought that it would have been earlier.
I agree.
Okay, sorry, I need to find my space real quick. So the computer system was needed so that multiple ride vehicles could run at once.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a safety thing, but yeah, it just, you can imagine why a computer is needed for that, right? Like, especially for an indoor where the person hitting the button for the next one to go isn't seeing where the one before that is.
At all, yeah.
Right. So this is why you need a computer for this, and now of course everything's computer run.
Right.
So this allowed multiple ride vehicles to run at once and enabled twin tracks side by side.
Woo!
On January 15th, 1975, Space Mountain officially launched at Magic Kingdom in Disney World, making Walt's once impossible dream a reality.
Aw.
Yeah. The grand opening was quite an ordeal. Back in the day, they used to do these wild parties whenever they would open a ride. It's kind of something I feel like I wish we had more of now.
Yeah.
Like, it's still an ordeal because you've got, I mean, the lines are insane. I guess they don't need a party anymore. They used to always have a dance party involved with like any opening.
And that's so cute.
Yeah, it's cute.
Nostalgic.
It is. It seems like such a cute historical
Now
thing.
they have media events when rides open, and that's when like the actors
Yeah, but that's not
from
fun.
the thing.
Okay, that's fun, I guess, in a different way, but it's not a dance party.
It's not for the guests either.
Right.
It's for media, which
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So this one featured a 2,000-piece marching band and surrounding Tomorrowland, daytime fireworks, and astronauts on hand to celebrate.
What is a daytime firework, do you think?
I think it's like when how
like powder?
What?
Like when they shoot like a explosion of colorful powder
Oh
into the
no,
sky?
I think they're just doing fireworks during the day.
Oh, okay. I'm overthinking it.
Yeah, you're overthinking it.
Got it.
You know when there's a show during the day and they'll shoot off like 2 fireworks at the end of it? I bet it's like that. I bet it's even kind of that low key.
Probably.
Yeah.
Just some pyro.
They're like, oh, here, let's cut the tape and also shoot off a couple of those fireworks. Yeah. That's what I'm imagining. But a 2,000-piece marching band is pretty intense.
That's cool.
As far as like this is just something going on around a ride that we're opening to celebrate it.
Imagine what that looks like. 2,000 instruments.
Yeah, and just surrounding Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
It's hard to imagine, honestly.
Agreed.
Apollo 15 astronaut Colonel James Irwin took the inaugural ride as the guest of honor.
Wow.
Later praising Walt Disney for inspiring wonder about our universe.
That's so cool.
Isn't that cute?
I love that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
How fun.
Space Mountain's gleaming white cone-shaped structure, which doesn't look like a mountain at all, immediately became a futuristic icon, towering 183 feet above Tomorrowland, which is just a few feet shorter than Cinderella Castle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that those two things were that close in height.
Yeah, they're surprisingly close.
Right.
I don't think of Space Mountain as being particularly tall.
Me neither.
And I think it's because it's so wide.
It's very wide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in there, I guess.
2 roller coasters.
Yeah. Inside that massive dome, you've got 2 nearly identical roller coaster tracks. They are called Alpha and Omega. Did you know this?
I only know this because of the sign and the queue that shows this way Alpha, this way Omega.
Yeah, and you have to be pretty observant to even pick up on that. But yeah,
and
good
you've
job.
had to have done it a lot.
Yeah,
we've ridden this more than the average.
You've ridden this a lot. Like I've never ridden this with you, and I assumed you just didn't like it because you're tall.
It gives me a headache.
Yeah.
So that's one reason, and it hurts my knees because I'm tall and it's hard to fit into the car.
Yeah.
As a kid, we did this every trip.
Oh, I bet. Yeah,
it was
that
like
makes sense.
Yeah, it was like a staple.
Yeah. I did this a lot as an older kid too. I was too frightened by it when I was a younger kid.
It's an intimidating ride. It's all in the dark.
It took me longer than most kids, I think, to work up the nerve. Yeah, I was probably like a preteen maybe.
I also find the queue of Space Mountain to be foreboding.
It is. Yeah. And when I was a kid, and I don't know when this happened, so it might have been when you were a kid too, there weren't all of those like gamey things in the queue.
No.
Yeah, so it was just like black. You know what I mean?
There's
a little bit more. Yeah. But like
what's that game?
It's a dark
where you hold your hands out and somebody tries to slap it.
I don't know if there's a name for that game.
Torture your brother.
Yeah, that's probably it.
No, yeah. That it was a very like bleak
yeah.
You just stand in the dark and wait, hear that weird pew, pew, pew music for like an hour.
Yeah. So anyway, the Alpha and Omega are the 2 different roller coaster tracks that you might get on.
Yeah.
And each is about 3,000 feet long. But a fun fact is that one of them is about 10 feet longer.
Interesting.
Yeah. Alpha is about 10 feet longer than the Omega. And you really can't tell the difference. Yeah. But some big fans ask for Alpha just to get that extra 10 feet in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good for them.
the top speed of the roller coaster is around 27 miles per hour.
That's a joke.
I know.
That's so funny.
We can hardly get people to go that speed to get through school zones. Like it's 20, right? But here where we live, some places it's 15 and some places it's 20, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's different even beyond that.
Maybe, yeah.
But I'm always seeing people fly through here. At 27, they're like, I can't go that slow.
Yeah.
But we're like, yeah. We're like, oh no, that's a thrill ride.
Yeah, that's like the most thrilling thing in Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
For years.
For a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we've got other stuff.
So, but psychologically, they get you to think that it goes faster. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So it's got the pitch black environment, or almost pitch black environment, I guess I should say. And then that synchronized sound effects that create an illusion of going faster.
Yeah.
Generations of park goers have come off the ride swearing it's one of the fastest rides they've ever experienced, or fastest experiences they've ever experienced, which obviously it isn't. Like we can't even get people to go that slow.
Right.
Yeah.
So funny. I didn't know it was that slow.
So slow.
So when you really think about that,
yeah,
and you picture what it's like to drive 30 miles at 27 miles an hour.
You're frustrated.
So funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're crawling.
Yeah, exactly. So Space Mountain was an instant hit, and it cemented the idea of the Disney Mountain thing.
Yeah.
Weird, because this is, anyway. For years, it remained a Magic Kingdom must-do, gaining a legendary status. I mean, this was like the number one thing, like you said. Not just the number one thrill ride. It was the number one ride in general for a long time for most people, for a lot of people.
The peak, mountain pun intended, but the peak of your, Magic Kingdom day, perhaps.
Yes.
Yeah.
The post-ride area originally showcased a futuristic home technology courtesy of sponsor RCA. So it a touch reminds me of what you were talking about when we were talking about
Adventure Through Inner Space.
Thank you. Where they've got some futuristic stuff going on, although this is maybe not quite the same.
No, not quite, but it's got that House of the Future same type of vibe.
Yes, it had complete with a rousing theme song, Here's to the Future, piped in as you exit your rocket.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, we gotta listen to that.
Yeah, different. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Disney being Disney, there were also fun little details like a certain canine astronaut whose name is Nipper, by the way. That's from RCA's logo, hiding in the scenery.
I've got to look that up.
Yeah, he's so cute. Even after RCA's sponsorship ended in the 1990s, a robotic tribute to that dog stayed in the ride's post-show as a nostalgic Easter egg, which we love it when they do these Easter eggs.
Yeah, so fun.
Space Mountain in Florida has undergone refurbishments over time, including a major upgrade in 2009, although not major enough in my personal opinion, that added new rocket trains, a fresh soundtrack, and interactive games in the queue. So I guess I did know. It was 2009. So for both of our childhoods, we did not have this queue.
Right, yeah.
Yet its classic charm remains. The ride, I feel like, hasn't changed. It hasn't gotten smoother. The cars aren't any more comfortable. So
nope.
Yeah.
Still 1975 up in there.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
FedEx took over sponsorship in the mid-1990s.
What?
Yeah.
Delivering thrills?
You didn't know FedEx was a sponsor?
I don't remember that.
So when you exit, you know how when you exit the rocket and you go through all of those, like where you're standing on a, what's it called?
Walkway.
Thank you. Moving walkway, and you're going by stuff. Yeah. There used to be like FedEx packages. Like FedEx was delivering to space.
Oh my gosh.
Is this ringing a bell?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought you might like.
I haven't thought about that.
Yes, I know.
Years.
I know. It's funny. It's funny.
Oh my god.
During the FedEx years, the storyline of the exit tunnel became a humorous interplanetary baggage claim area, which is a clever fit for a shipping company. FedEx ended sponsorship in the 2000s, and since then, Space Mountain carries an unsponsored but eagle-eyed riders can still spot remnants of those earlier sponsor eras in some of the decor and props. It was like, it also said at the end, there was some motto that was like FedEx can deliver anywhere or
Oh yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
I
Like,
love when they do that.
I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but it was like a joke because they were delivering into space.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, funny. You know
Good.
what I
Yeah,
mean?
good for
Yeah.
them.
All right. So that kind of was my overview of Walt Disney Worlds, and which is the beginning of the beginning, because Walt Disney World had the first one,
Yeah.
which doesn't happen for us a lot, especially on something so iconic.
No, but we've got a couple good ones.
We do.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to talk about Disneyland's version.
All right.
After seeing the smashing success of Space Mountain in Florida, Disney quickly moved to bring a version of the ride to the original park in California. Disneyland Space Mountain opened on May 27th, 1977. So, like, man, they were on top of it.
2 years later, wow.
2 years later. To mark the occasion, Disneyland pulled out all the stops. They had a dedicated ceremony attended by 6 of the original Mercury astronauts,
Wow.
who were the pioneers of America's space program.
Yeah.
And even recruited Neil Armstrong to officially cut the ribbon.
How cool.
Yeah. Thanks to Space Mountain, Disneyland's attendance during that Memorial Day opening weekend broke all previous records as visitors flocked to experience this new sensation.
Nice.
Creating Space Mountain for Disneyland came with more challenges because of their space. Unlike the sprawling Florida property, Disneyland has a relatively small and already jam-packed with attractions. Imagineers had to redesign Space Mountain's structure to fit in the tighter Anaheim footprint.
Oh.
Yeah, the California version has a single track roller coaster instead of 2, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And a smaller diameter of a dome.
Oh.
So it's not as wide.
I actually forget that it's not a carbon copy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But, like, you haven't been to Disneyland yet, right?
Right.
The queue, once you did the queue once, you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like outdoor and kind of multi-level. Not all outdoor, but
oh wow.
Yeah, it's just
it's different.
It's different because it has to go more up and down,
right?
Because of the space.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
It's like their parking lot.
Yeah. Yeah. But Disney cleverly built part of the ride underground and elevated the entry queue.
Cool.
Guests at Disneyland actually descend via an escalator into the floor loading area, which sits below ground level, which, I mean, they can't do that here. Cool that they could do that there, which was a necessity to make everything fit. The track layout ended up completely different from Florida's, though the general experience with swift dips and sharp turns in darkness feels the same.
Yeah.
I don't think you'd be able to put your finger on it, especially since you can't ride them like in the same day.
Right.
I mean, you could technically ride them in this. Yeah. It would be not fun.
Sounds not fun.
For added excitement, Disneyland Space Mountain eventually got something the original lacked, which was an onboard music soundtrack. In 1977, the technology wasn't there, but by the 1990s, Disneyland upgraded the ride with built-in speakers on each of the rockets.
And boy, are we jealous.
Yeah. In 1996, the coaster trains were refreshed with a new audio system and a surf guitar space soundtrack by guitarist Dick Dale, giving the high-speed trip an energetic musical vibe. Around that time, FedEx took over sponsorship, and the exterior was painted a copper tone hue briefly as part of a new Tomorrowland makeover, which happened in 1998.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome. I want to see pictures of it. I meant to look it up when I wrote this, and I forgot.
I got you. Keep going.
Yeah, so they have we'll talk about this more later, but they got the soundtrack that's in each of the rockets. Oh my gosh, Jake is showing me a picture of when it was copper. That's wild. Really? You just think of it as white.
I know, it's really cool. Interesting actually.
Yeah. I like it.
I like it too. Yeah. It's got like a steampunk. You know what it reminds me of?
Yeah, like the
Discovery Land.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Jules Verne area of like Disneyland Paris, Tokyo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Tokyo is specifically what I'm thinking of. But yeah, for sure. Also Disneyland Paris, you're right. They had the same vibe going on.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. despite Disneyland Space Mountain being hugely popular, by the early 2000s, the ride was starting to show its age. Decades of constant use and those heavy onboard speakers. So,
Oh.
yeah, put stress on the track. And,
Oh.
and I know you don't think of that as being heavy. In 2003, Disney closed the ride for an extensive rebuild, and not a moment too soon. Behind the scenes, engineers discovered that the steel track was approaching the end of its service life. Terrifying.
Oh. That's something I don't want them to learn after they've closed.
Right. They closed
ride.
it, and then they're like, oh, wow, we were about to kill some people.
Nice.
The entire coaster was carefully demolished and replaced with a brand new track of the exact same layout, which was a project that kept Space Mountain closed for over 2 years.
Wow.
Disneyland's new Space Mountain reopened in 2005, smoother than ever, but still giving the same classic thrills as the original.
I didn't even know that happened.
Yeah. And how bad must it have been for them to be like, because they never do that. They never like rip out everything and start over.
Yeah.
They love what's it called?
A quick refurb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why the word's not coming to me, but like a layover.
Oh, like, yeah. They do love to spruce things up with just like a quick overlay or a quick, like, if it's for
like
maintenance.
Like what they're doing for Rock and Roller Coaster. Yeah, like we're changing it, but it's like not.
The bones are the same.
The bones are the same. For this, they must have been crumbling.
They took out all the bones.
Because they took out all the bones, yeah. And they wouldn't do that unless they had to, I don't think.
No, I don't, because it sounds really expensive.
It does sound expensive, but I wish they would do that for ours.
I know. Take it.
Yeah.
I don't care how long it's closed for.
Ours is so unsmooth.
It's hard to ride.
The Disneyland one is really smooth and lovely, and I like it a lot. And you get to sit next to the person you're with.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
they got that good 2005 roller coaster.
Yeah, once you go on the Disneyland one, it's hard to go back to the Disney World one. And I can't even imagine the Paris one, which we'll get into later. You just have to think of the Paris one as a completely different ride.
I do.
Yeah, I do too. Since then, Disneyland has had fun periodically transforming Space Mountain with special overlays. That's the word I was looking for. I said layovers. Overlays is what
I do that too sometimes. Yeah. I'm like, wait, like a flight?
What's the word? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
During Halloween seasons, it morphs into Ghost Galaxy, a spooky version, although it hasn't recently, I don't believe. A spooky version, or maybe never mind.
I don't know.
A spooky version complete with menacing space ghosts and creepy sound effects, which ours for the Halloween party just goes pitch black.
Right.
At other times, it has been reimagined as Hyperspace Mountain, throwing riders into the Star Wars universe amid X-Wing fighters and TIE fighter battles, accompanied by John Williams' epic score.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was even a short-lived Rockin' Space Mountain overlay in 2007 that blasted Red Hot Chili Peppers music during the ride.
This is wild.
Yeah.
Like, as a response to Rock and Roller Coaster, I'm assuming?
Well, it wasn't, it was in 2007. So Rock and Roller Coaster had been out for a hot minute.
So strange.
Very weird.
Ghost Galaxy, ran from 2009 to 2018.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And then they thought no more of that because of Oogie Boogie Bash. So all the Halloween type stuff is going to go to California Adventure.
Ridiculous. I mean, okay. And the only difference is projections and sound, which is essentially free.
Yeah.
So, and they kept Haunted Mansion Holiday. So I don't know that excuse really works for me, but
and who knows what the real reason is.
I know
what they tell you and what it is are not always the same.
Yes, agreed. Yeah. So anyway, those are the things that they have done. I am going to mention right now, because I don't think I put this in my report, that during the Christmas season here, we get a holiday overlay only if you go to the party, and it is red and green flashing lights and a change of music. It's a little silly.
Yeah.
All right.
Not even a Santa hat.
No.
Nope.
It is my favorite, but it's not. It's really not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Mountains around the world is what I'm going to go into next.
Yay.
After conquering Florida and California, Space Mountain set its sights internationally. Tokyo Disneyland was the next destination to get a Space Mountain, When Tokyo's park opened in 1983, it featured its own Space Mountain right from day one. Tokyo's version was essentially a clone of the Disneyland Anaheim version.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Why that one?
Because it's better. It's way better, but back then it wasn't better. I don't know. It must have been a space thing.
But lower capacity, you know?
Yeah, it must have been a space thing.
Must be, yeah.
For over 2 decades, it ran without onboard music, very much like the early Disneyland one. And in 2007, Tokyo Space Mountain received a futuristic facelift with updated special effects and new indoor queue featuring a suspended spaceship, giving it a unique identity.
Cool.
Yeah, extra. Interestingly, Tokyo never added audio to the ride vehicles, keeping the experience more old school.
Interesting.
Big news hit in 2022 when Tokyo Disney announced they will completely rebuild Space Mountain and its surrounding Tomorrowland area. The current Tokyo Space Mountain is scheduled to reopen in 2027 as a next-generation version of the attraction. Still a high-speed journey through space, but with a brand new track, modern special effects, and an even more immersive storyline connecting Earth to the cosmos. It's a full circle moment where the classic concept is being reborn for the future.
So you're saying it's possible
to do this? Yeah, that with Tokyo Disney money, I guess. Like they just put Tron right if you're thinking, is Disney World going to do this anytime soon? I think because they just put Tron next door, they're like, yeah, no, I'm not worried about this.
I agree, and it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have a better Space Mountain than Tron.
Yeah, it sounds like Tokyo is about to have the best Space Mountain, but I will have to get back to you on that next year because Paris's sounds freaking amazing.
Yeah.
In going to that, in Europe, Disneyland Paris opened its own Space Mountain in 1995, but leave it to the French park to put a bold new twist on that idea. Paris's Space Mountain, originally titled De la Terre à la Lune, sorry if I mispronounced that, after the Jules Verne novel From the Earth to the Moon, is the most radical departure from the original design. Instead of the sleek white dome, Paris built a steampunk-inspired mountain with a giant cannon on its side, as if Victorian-era explorers are literally shooting riders to the moon. This version was the first and only Space Mountain to include inversions. It launches riders from 0 to about 44 miles per hour and straight into a loop with a corkscrew and other high maneuvers along the way.
Oh my God.
I know, it's like a legit roller coaster.
Yeah.
It also is the first Space Mountain to have a synchronized onboard soundtrack from the very start. The Paris ride was technologically advanced and became the park's signature attraction from day one.
I'm sure.
It underwent a few reimaginings over time. In 2005, renovation changed the name to Space Mountain Mission 2, with a new storyline of going beyond the moon. Why just go to the moon? You could go beyond the moon.
Have you ever wondered what's beyond the moon?
More recently, in 2017, Disneyland Paris applied a Star Wars overlay and officially renamed it Star Wars Hyperspace Mountain.
Boo,
I know, making this sci-fi saga a permanent part of the experience. But they kept the whole track the way it is, so it still has upside down loops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like this either. They just kind of threw IP on it, and that makes me sad.
I know.
Which is funny because I think that doing the Star Wars thing to our way outdated Space Mountain might be nice to spruce it up.
Something.
But like they took the best version and then dumbed it down, in my personal opinion.
I agree. They had something truly unique.
And they dumbed it down. Yeah. Bummer. Yeah. To be fair, we haven't ridden either version, but the Jules Verne version just, unique is the word.
It's, one of a kind. I really, and to lose it to something that exists elsewhere.
And there's so much Star Wars stuff everywhere. I don't feel like they needed to do this.
Agreed.
I could see like doing it on May the 4th weekend. You know what I mean? Like, if it's projections and sound like the ones that they do in Disneyland, I get that. I wouldn't mind having that here, like I said, just for a little bit of a something different.
Agreed.
But yeah. Anyway, moving on. When Hong Kong Disneyland opened in 2005, it too included Space Mountain as one of the opening day attractions. Hong Kong's version was largely modeled on the revamped California version.
Yeah.
It has a single track similar to Anaheim's layout, complete with onboard music and even a few show elements that were unique at the time, like a hyperspeed tunnel effect.
Ooh.
Over the years, Hong Kong Disneyland also embraced the popular overlays. It ran the Creepy Ghost Galaxy for Halloween events and eventually joined in on the Star Wars fun.
Oh.
In 2016, Hong Kong officially converted its Space Mountain into Hyperspace Mountain full-time, with an X-Wing starfighter out front and a Q-themed Star Wars Rebel base. So in essence, it's the same roller coaster, but now guests are pilots fighting the Empire as they zip through the dark.
Have you done Hyperspace Mountain?
No.
I have not either. I hope it's incredible.
You mean the one at Disneyland?
I mean any of them.
Well, the one in Paris and the one in Hong Kong, I think have more to it. The one in Disneyland was an overlay, so it was just projected TIE fighters and projected X-Wings and the music.
Right. These are full-time installations.
I would imagine, but I haven't done it. I haven't watched a thing because I have a hard time with the balance, because as a Disney podcaster and travel agent, I want to know everything there is to know, but I still want to be surprised by stuff when I eventually get to go.
Right.
So it's difficult. So I haven't watched like a ride through, and I'm not going to unless I need to for some reason.
I hope they're great. Yeah,
I hope they're great too, because they really turned it into a Star Wars ride.
And I just don't know that really even fits.
It feels a little like a slap in the face to the original concept.
I know. And at least the Paris one, the original Paris one, took the concept and elevated it to something else that was unique and original, an original thought, an original take on that premise. And to Star Warsify it is to jam an IP into a mid-century view of space, which are not, Star Wars is not that at all. It's a dystopian view of the past.
Right, of the past.
It's not even tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know? Very strange.
Very strange. I completely agree that in Disneyland, California, Star Tours is right next to Space Mountain.
It's so weird. Yeah. Why would you have two Star Wars
now
things?
They've built Batuu. You know what I mean? Also, but in a completely different part of the Disneyland park. And it's very interesting. It's a very interesting decision.
Weird. It's almost like how we have Star Tours in Hollywood Studios, but not as part of Batuu. Just two disjointed Star Wars experiences.
At least but at least it's close. And Star Tours was the original, you know what I mean? The OG. So at least that makes a little bit of sense to me.
Right.
Like throwing Star Wars on Matterhorn makes just as much, you know what I mean? Like except for the space, I don't.
Well, it could be Hoth. It could be
Hoth.
The ice planets.
For real.
Yeah, it does make just as much sense.
Next to the Yeti, you could put one of the creatures that I can't remember the name right now, but you know what I mean?
Bantha?
I think that's it. Good job.
You guys, are you proud of me?
Yeah. So,
all right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's peculiar.
Yeah. Okay. The only Magic Kingdom style Disney park without a Space Mountain is actually Shanghai Disneyland, which opened the most recently in 2016.
Right.
Shanghai opted for a different thrill ride, and that was Tron. So that took the place of Space Mountain in their opinion, which is why it's kind of weird that we have both.
I know. I would prefer it to be one or the other.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. They're like two pretty big, pretty iconic looking. I mean, for sure, Space Mountain's iconic looking. I think Tron will become the look of it will become kind of an icon of Tomorrowland.
I think that's the most iconic thing about it is its appearance.
Yes, and they're right next to each other, and they both have kind of a white dome kind of, you know what I mean?
Futuristic.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah. Weird.
Though each park, Space Mountain, has its own flavor and storyline, all of them share that the striking white or white and silver spiraled dome exterior, which I think that, like I said at the beginning, I think that that's kind of one of the most important pieces to it.
Yeah. The silhouette.
Yeah. So I'm going to touch on the dark side of Space Mountain.
Oh, is that a Star Wars pun? Be honest.
It wasn't, but let's say yeah.
Okay.
There are a lot of things that I found in my research that I decided to leave out. If somebody was just being an idiot and got mildly hurt, I'm not going to talk about that. Like,
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
That's bad guest behavior. We don't reward that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's also not that interesting, but I did get into some of the more intense things that have happened. So.
Okay, let me put my seatbelt on.
For all its fun and fantasy, Space Mountain has seen a few genuinely dark moments in its long history. Okay. No theme park ride is entirely without risk. I just want to point that out. And an attraction operating for decades will inevitably have some incidents.
Yep.
Space Mountain is generally very safe. Millions of people have been on it, and millions of successful missions have launched. But there have been a few kind of mishaps and tragedies along the way. Mm-hmm. In the early days, the ride's intensity which is so funny at 27 miles per hour, caught some guests off guard. Just months after the Florida Space Mountain opened in 1975, there were hundreds of minor injury reports, mostly from people jostling around or getting motion sickness.
Sure.
In May 1975, a 70-year-old man with a heart condition collapsed after riding and later passed away, marking the first death associated with the attraction.
Sad.
Yeah, I mean, and that was like right after it opened.
Yeah.
Many followed. And like I said, I'm not going to get into every incident, especially where it was like, there were a lot of incidents where a person got on this ride with a heart condition and then died because they were over scared.
And you hate to say it, but that does happen quite a bit with thrill attractions in general.
In general, not just Disney.
Yep, has nothing really to do with Space Mountain.
Yeah, if you think you might have a heart condition, please don't go on these kind of rides.
Absolutely.
There was one incident in 1983 when an 18-year-old man somehow fell out of the Space Mountain coaster at Disneyland during the ride. Oh. He was riding in the front row and reportedly unbuckled his seatbelt and attempted to exit to speak with someone. He lost his balance and plummeted from his rocket vehicle and was seriously injured, ending up paralyzed from the waist down. In that case, a jury later found that Disney was not at fault, that he obviously tried to sue. Ride operators and even jurors retraced the event and demonstrated the restraint system in court, concluding that the rider had disregarded safety rules. But the thought of a guest falling out of a rocket is so insane that I added this to the list.
Yeah.
Although this is guest misbehavior.
It is, but this is a very notable instance where, this type of thing is very abnormal for Disney parks specifically.
Yeah.
Very abnormal for roller coasters in general. This is not something that happens very much.
Right.
And it really does go to show you that when you are told to remain seated, that is instruction you should be following at your own risk.
Yeah. And a lot of the ride restraints now don't give you the option to unbuckle like they used to in like the 70s.
Yeah.
Like in the 70s, it's like a seat belt and you could just take it off.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Not that you would want to theoretically.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So that was a scary one. I mean, it's scary to think that this could happen. It can't really happen anymore. You'd have to, but yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Mechanical issues have very rarely plagued Space Mountain, but one notable incident happened in August 2000 at Disneyland, California. The safety control system malfunctioned and caused a train to abruptly stop mid-ride. Without warning, riders were jolted by a sudden brake, and 9 people suffered minor injuries, like bruises and whiplash.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like a huge deal, but terrifying.
Yeah.
The park closed Space Mountain to investigate, and it turned out that a wheel assembly issue caused the computer to halt the coaster.
Okay.
That was the first major technical failure for Disneyland Space Mountain since it opened. Fortunately, no one was seriously hurt, and the ride was up and running again after some adjustments. incidentally, that breakdown hastened Disney's decision to completely rebuild the track a few years later.
Okay.
Which all of these things are kind of very lucky for them, since it sounds like the track was falling apart.
A blessing in disguise,
Yes,
as they say.
they say. In Florida, there was an unusual accident in 1998 that left a man with serious injuries after something struck him in the head while he rode Space Mountain. This is like, I hear about this lore all the time. But anyway, when the ride ended, the object was found to be a camera that apparently had fallen out of another guest's hand. Oh my gosh. It said, or possibly from a passing ride like the People Mover, but then it would have been flung.
Right.
They more guessed that it was a camera that was in somebody's hand, and because the tracks are so like woven together so tightly, just when they dropped it, it landed on somebody below them.
That's terrible.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Because even at 27 miles an hour, the rate of speed really...
On a drop.
Yeah.
And if it was somebody in the People Mover that threw it, then that's a whole nother thing. Oh my gosh.
That's...
They don't know.
We hope it's not that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. God. I'm a little surprised they weren't able to figure out who did it. Because the camera, maybe there were no pictures on it.
Yeah.
The man suffered memory loss and other complications from the blow. And it was a reminder why Disney constantly reminds riders to secure loose items. Anything dropped in a high-speed coaster can be a dangerous projectile.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that one was scary. I used to read about lore all the time where somebody got like their hand cut off or their foot cut off because of stuff falling. Like they would say that happened all the time. But I think this is the only actual time that it officially happened.
It had similar incidents have happened on other roller coasters as well. But yeah, that's a pretty spooky thing to happen on a Disney roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space Mountain has been the subject of urban legends and hoaxes. There's a long-standing rumor claiming that a man once stood up during the ride and was decapitated by a low ceiling.
Right.
This gruesome tale is not true. It appears to be a mix of imagination and confusion with unrelated fatal accident on a different Disneyland coaster. The Matterhorn in 1964 involved a guest standing up and being thrown from the bobsled.
Right.
Nevertheless, such stories persist, adding kind of a ghostly aura to Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And in recent years, a satirical...
Satirical.
Satirical.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I saying... fake news site, which you guys probably know the fake news site, but anyway. Even ran a joke piece claiming that Disney would keep Space Mountain's lights on forever because of a rider's arms got cut off, which was just a completely false, like this fake news site. This is just what they do for a living. It's crazy. I don't know how this exists, but here we are. People believed it, of course.
Sometimes,
as they do.
I have seen posts from satirical news sites like this that are in fact funny.
Sometimes they're funny.
Right. Such as Cinderella Castle blows away because they forgot to take it apart or whatever people think. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Sometimes that is funny. This, I don't know is funny.
No, yeah.
Or funny enough to warrant.
Yeah, when it's so ridiculous and it also doesn't have anything to do with somebody's arms getting cut off. Yeah. It can be funny.
And a little perhaps insensitive to people who have actually been injured on this ride.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Good point.
Yeah.
But despite these incidents, Space Mountain's safety record of over tens of millions of rides is good. So it's nothing you need to worry about. I just mentioned these because, they're thankfully few, but they are a little interesting. And also, I'm kind of taking this moment to say these are the things that actually happened. Pretty much anything else you've heard didn't happen. Yeah, honestly, really good to clear up because it is, I think, maybe more than any other ride, this one is plagued by rumor. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that it's in the dark. Agreed. And when you do see it lit up, like in the occasion that you can, like we've been on People Mover and seen it lit up. Looks like a death trap. It looks like a death trap. It looks like a Mad Max killing machine. So, like, your imagination is going, oh my God, like, what could happen on this, death trap? That is probably why. And then then I think that's just how the rumor mill starts. Like somebody said it's like a phone and telephone, and I don't know, it's crazy.
Yeah, next thing you know, your arms are getting cut off.
Yeah, everybody's arms are cut off.
Yeah,
why not?
Right.
Yeah. I'm just gonna wrap up with a few fun facts.
Ooh,
but
fun.
I kind of interspersed a bunch of fun facts in there. But
Right.
Internally, Magic Kingdom's Space Mountain is dubbed Starport 75, which is a nod to 1975, the year it opened.
Cute.
So that's what they call it. Also, when you're going through, you see the sign that says Starport 75. I made a sticker that says Starport 75. It's fun.
Aw.
The top speed of Space Mountain is only about 27 miles per hour, depending on the park version. Actually, many people are surprised because it feels so much faster, and that sensation is achieved with quick acceleration, sudden drops, and the psychological effect of darkness, which makes you feel like you're going faster than you are.
Right.
If you've ever had Space Mountain suddenly stop and the lights come on, you've witnessed a truly bizarre sight. Although, I guess because I've seen it like twice in my life, but
Same.
I do go all the time.
Right.
With house lights on, riders can see the tangled spaghetti-like steel track and support beams crisscrossing everywhere inside the dome. It looks nothing like the boundless galaxy you get in the dark. It's more like an oversized erector set. Disney tries to avoid spoiling the magic, or terrifying everybody, as I like to say. But occasionally they will have to do that because somebody lost something and they'll have to turn on the lights to go find it, or because there's some sort of a technical delay.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that I really wound up putting most of the fun facts like within the stuff I was saying.
Well,
so
yeah.
That wraps it up.
Oh, wow. What an interesting history. I love the fact that you were able to address some of the, like, what is true, not only from the history, but also from, like, urban legends.
Yeah.
How interesting.
I just used to, this was a long time ago, like a long, long time ago, but I used to hear about stuff all the time. People's heads getting cut off.
Their hands, if they put their hands
Yeah,
up.
I don't understand the foot one, but I heard that foot one a few times.
Yeah, people's imaginations are kind of wild.
Your feet are under a thing in Disney World.
Like, I know, if your foot is getting cut off, your whole ride vehicle is
I don't even understand that one.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, though, that you can't always believe what you hear about some of these ride safety things.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that was fascinating. Thank you for sharing all that fun information.
So do you go on it anymore?
I don't go on it very much anymore just because it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much done.
Yeah, I do, however, hope for this ride to be refurbished at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, I have hope for that too. And when we do the other parks, I will definitely be doing those.
Absolutely. If I find myself in Disneyland Paris, which I hope to, it is one of my top priorities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the other ones are better than the one that we have. So
I know. And we have the first one. How unfair is that? Rude.
Rude.
Thank you guys for joining us for this episode. If you would like more interesting Disney information, you can find it on our social media at Neverland Navco on Instagram and TikTok.
Yes. We also have an Etsy store. It's called Neverland Navigation on Etsy. We do custom shirts there. This is also where, if you want to check out the reviews, you would get custom shirts for your trip if you let me be your travel agent by emailing me, morgan@neverlandnavigation.com.
All right, we have an interplanetary flight boarding at Starport 75, so we gotta go, but we'll see you
on our next adventure.